El Record.
Juan is doing so good. Guys, you need to pray for him as we get going. He is struggling with allergies.
It's either that or coronavirus.
Yeah,
we're
we're not sure. We'll see. So what you guys think about this?
I eat coronavirus
Ready,
for breakfast.
Set, go. In just a second. I don't think the audio is turned on the Cubase. El Recordo. Oh, Margot knows how to... I did not know Margot knew how to speak Spanish.
Margot speaks Spanish?
Margot basically speaks Spanish. She just said El Recordo.
Like Baxter?
Basically. Yes. Really excited about the episode today, Dave. Whoa. 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 Way too loud. Way too loud. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. We're getting going. Give us just a second. Think about, you know what happens whenever I have to buy some time with my kids. I say, guys, let's just stop for a second and think about Jesus. Let's think about Jesus. And then one of my boys, the other day I said that, and Jude goes, yeah, I think he has long hair. And I was like, I think you're right. I think you're right, Jude. He always comes up with some very creative just answers to things. He's going to be creative. He's a creative kid.
Nice.
He's going to be creative.
I'm pretty creative. 4 times. At least 4 times so far. I've been
pro-creative.
You're
very pro-creative.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass.
Raise it up.
Adam Minahan here, sitting with David Niles in studio. Juan on the buttons. We just surprised Juan with that intro. He was not aware of it. We set it up a little early, got here early so that way he was not aware of it. And the look on his face whenever it hit, he thought he had done something wrong with the buttons.
That was funny.
He immediately looked over at me with wide eyes like, oh no.
I'm pretty sure I pushed the right button.
All I did was touch the right button.
That's the right button.
Well, Dave.
See.
Oh, that was your phone. Okay, we're good. We just got...
I was just like, wow, we have like 10 comments on our Facebook video already. But it's all Margot Basso.
Who is now... We are now her...
I saw that. We're on the top 2.
We're the top 2. Michael Knowles, Catholic Man
Show.
So we are moving up in the world. What do you think about those lights behind us, Dave?
We have captioning on our Facebook video.
I added that. You're welcome.
That is...
phenomenal.
That is pretty sweet.
What do you think about those lights behind us?
I'm going to see if I can trick it.
No, let's not do... Dave, see, listen, you got to focus on the conversation and not the video.
I slid a sheet I slid upon the sheet I slid I sit.
That was pretty good, actually,
I'm going to
Dave.
see what it does about that.
Okay. Well, hey, the drink this evening is Talisker. We're going to take a trip to the west side of Scotland. We haven't had a Talisker whiskey in a while. Talisker's really known for more of the peppery side of Scotch.
Okay.
And so this one is Talisker's Distillers Edition. It's matured in Amoroso cask wood. It's distilled in...
It did not get it. It was close. It had something about a sheet and sitting, but...
Didn't quite get it.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention because I was waiting for the Facebook video to catch up.
That's why I was filling in.
Look, you can't
do 2 things at once.
You can't not tell me about
stuff,
things that I
I get it.
I want to play with that.
Okay, so Talisker Distillers Edition, matured in Amoroso cask wood.
Okay.
2050.
It'd be interesting if it's still peppery with the Oloroso.
It should be, but it's Amoroso. It's not
Amoroso.
It's not, yeah, which is a little sweeter sherry than Oloroso.
No kidding.
Yes. So it's first barreled in ex-bourbon barrels and aged basically in that, and then topped off in the Amoroso wood barrel. So this is the 2015. Like I said, Talisker is known for more of their peppery.
Yeah, and it's
west
kind of
side.
expensive bottle, right? Is Talisker on the higher
this
side?
one, yeah, this one is. This one's
I mean, as a distiller, they're above $60.
Yeah, this is about a $95 bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
This one specifically was
So
like
maybe
I said,
you haven't decided what to do with all the money Trump gave you, and
Right.
this could be it.
This could be it.
Or you
It's
could
a
send
great
it to us.
investment.
Right.
Bottled in 2015, so it was distilled in 2005. It's a 10-year-old Talisker, which is their intro level whiskey anyway. And it's ABV. It's 45.8, and Talisker's typically 45.8, and almost all of theirs.
0.8. Is that like a signature thing that they do? I wonder.
I don't think it's a signature. I just think that's where they found the sweet spot, and
The pepper spot.
so let's try it. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass and cheers.
Cheers to Jesus. You know what I almost said?
What?
Iu bensiam Jesu. But
I'm
I
glad you
didn't.
didn't.
I didn't say that because that would be nonsensical, as we all know.
As we all know.
As everybody knows.
In Latin, that's nonsensical.
Who would say that?
We found that out from a Benedictine monk at Clear Creek after saying it for
We've been saying it for like months.
a good 20
Months.
episodes.
Yeah. And then we're there at the camp out, and during the break, he looks over and he says, "That doesn't mean anything. That is total nonsense." That's like saying, and I don't remember what his, but anyway, this is just why you can't trust Google Translate. You just can't do it. And to this day, if you go in and put in "Cheers to Jesus" and say, "Tell me how to say that in Latin," it will still say "Iu bensiam Jesu." It's like it thinks it can just make stuff up.
I'm interested to see what you have to say about that.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's American. It was aged in American bourbon casks after its initial beauty rest. The whiskey it was double barreled or finished in a cask that was previously used to mature Amoroso
So
sherry.
do they put the barrel in another barrel? Is that what a double barrel is?
No.
It's like doubling it up?
No. Amoroso sherry is a type of Oloroso sherry, but is generally sweetened with a blend of specific types of grapes. As a result, this is imbued with an aroma of red fruits, berries, apricots, which leads a crisp, full body. Initially, the whiskey was sweet, fruity flavors along with touches of sea salt, peat, and vanilla that ultimately fade into a lingering, elegant...
Vanilla.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Ultimately leading into a elegant finish.
This is really good.
It's very smooth.
That is nice.
It is a very smooth whiskey. Yeah,
And it does still have the pepper. It's still
and
there.
a little peat.
Yeah, and but it is still sweet. It's like it's the pepper. It's the sweet heat. It's sweet heat, right there.
Now Talisker is made by the sea. Is kind of their.
Yeah, are they in Isla? I don't remember.
They're out of.
They're not,
Sky.
right?
They're Sky Island. But they're the oldest distillery in Sky Island. There's only a couple. So it started in 1830.
I'm the oldest distillery at my house.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Started in 1830. A guy rented a house and then started distilling whiskey. And
1830.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what the oldest running distillery is.
Oh, we've said it before.
That's such a complicated claim because
Right.
there are distilleries that were around that shut down for hundreds of years
And then was
that were
resurrected.
reopened,
Right.
you know, and it's like, what does it mean that you reopened it? Does that mean like the stills, you're using the same stills? I doubt it. It's probably, look, we bought the property, leveled the old place, and built a sweet new a sweet plant. It's built on the same rocks
Yes.
as the old one.
Yeah, basically. It's great. Same foundation.
Yeah, but you know, the whiskey game is everybody's trying to make the biggest claim to tradition as they can, you know.
Right. Which is one of the reasons why I like Scotch.
Yeah, because there is tradition
There's a
to
lot
be
of
claimed.
tradition. Yeah.
Now, some of it is a lot of it is over exaggerated and like some of it's fabricated.
Right.
But there is still, the thing is that there's just a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
Do you have a story today? Did you think of one?
Ooh, I did think of one. What was I going to tell? I might have to tell it after the next segment.
You should tell your dad's famous piano dunta 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 song.
Oh,
story.
you know what I was going to tell? I was going to tell the story about how you won every basketball game we've ever
That's the
played.
one you're gonna say. You're gonna say that one.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with that one.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
Why not?
No, go ahead.
So, growing up, we were always in small faith group. And it was, there's like 5 families that we'd get together.
Once a month.
We'd have like a short kids
Bible
religion session.
Yeah. And then we got to eat.
And then we'd eat brownies and
Rice Krispie treats and then go play.
And
while the parents did a adult Bible session.
And we would rotate whose house it was at. When it was at my house, we'd play basketball.
Right. Because you had a sweet basketball goal.
We have a really nice basketball goal at my parents' house, right? And the actual record of the score was unknown.
Because we played so many games.
Nobody cared.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like I was, probably winning most of them.
Really?
And I'm sure.
That's how you. Really?
Anyway, one day, at the very end, Adam goes to the end of the driveway, which it's not really the end of the driveway because the driveway is
really long,
ridiculously long. Anyway, he goes, if I make this shot from right here, I win this game, every game we've ever played, and every game we ever will play, no matter what the real score is, I win. And I just remember that you were so far away, I just went, sure, dude. Okay, whatever. And I watched you launch this ball into the air, and of course, I'm watching it like in slow motion. My head isn't moving, just my eyes following this ball, and I'm standing right under the goal and watching it get closer and closer, just like waiting for it to miss. And then it just goes right in. Swoosh!
Nothing but net.
What? You've got to be kidding me! And then for years, and years and years, and there's a part 2 to this story that will have to be told another time. But it didn't matter.
I held that over your head for
forever,
probably 10 years.
Yeah, our entire childhood.
Yes, and so every time, and I would always flaunt it. Like we'd be out in the middle.
Hey, do you want to play basketball? Yeah. Bet you I can win.
Yeah. Or like we'd be in front of like all of our parents, and it'd be like, "Hey, Dave, who won today's basketball game?"
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, and obviously he'd always have to say me.
Yeah,
because that was the rules.
That was the rules. We agreed.
Mm-hmm.
That's like you just don't ever agree to something like if you're not getting like if you have no odds in it, if there's no upside for you, don't do it. It's like Kevin from The Office. Like if anyone gives you 10,000 to 1 odds, you take it.
Right. But you didn't have any upside.
There was no one.
However, me being the virtuous man that I am, I did give you the opportunity.
Well, that's because you did the same thing to me that I did to you. You went, okay, whatever, fine. Yeah, if you can do that.
I gave you redemption is what I did.
There will be I have to tell that one next time.
All right. We'll be right back.
Remember when you were talking about the captions?
Yeah.
Remember when I said Our Lady of the Theotokos?
Yes.
And it Facebook caption Our Lady of Tackles.
Our Lady of Tackles, yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
that could be a cool nickname.
Yeah, I did a really good job by giving you the opportunity to take back winning every basketball game we ever played.
Yeah, but I still had to suffer for it.
Well, suffering is what's worth.
And you wouldn't have done it if you thought you wouldn't have given me the opportunity if you thought
I would have. I mean, the crown had been on my head for long enough.
Yeah, it was really your virtue. That was your motivating factor.
It was.
Yes. Of course.
Yes.
How unholy of me to.
I was really shocked that you even thought that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I am so sorry, Adam.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
So I almost stopped recording
Why would you stop recording?
when the audio came on.
Oh, when the audio came on?
Oh.
What'd you think about that one?
I was like, I almost hold on. They're saying we are on the Lord's team, and I'm just like,
A barbershop quartet.
so confused.
Adam is every voice in that.
I'm every single voice in that. It only took me. I started on that on episode 14, and I finally finished.
Labor of love.
All right, let's keep going.
And falsehood. It's a labor of lies.
Labor of love and falsehood.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. This is David Niles here with Adam Minahan and Juan Posada. This just in, people. Margot Basso does not like the new intro. I don't know why. She probably thinks you're a terrible singer.
It's probably a personal dig.
She probably just doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's
probably what it is.
You know what? I think that's probably it.
I've suspicioned this
For a long time.
for a while.
I know.
While.
I know.
Anyway. So, the man gear for today.
Oh, we're jumping right into it. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Well, do you have something else you want to talk about?
Go ahead.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because, Adam, if you do, I mean, I don't want to...
No.
I don't... After the episode, I don't want you to, have any hurt feelings.
Okay.
Okay. Man gear for today is the razor blade knife. And I call it that because I don't know what else to really call it. I don't know if there is a official word for what this...
X-Acto knife?
Yeah, but to me, an X-Acto knife is like a art tool, that has like a pencil handle.
Right.
So I'm talking about like this. It's a knife that you just get these razor blades that you put in that they come out. Saying like this. Okay. This is a very, very important tool if you're working on a project, especially and I think that they're more handy when you're in project working mode. Okay, so if you're just day to day, like I'm a man, of course I'm going to carry a pocket knife.
Naturally.
This isn't the knife that I would recommend you carry just out.
No.
But like I'm remodeling my bathroom right now. I keep one of these on me all the time. Okay, because the nice thing about them is that they have these razor blades that you just pop in and out. And razor blades are very, very, very cheap. You can I got a pack of 100 for like $5.
Nice.
And they come in like a dispenser.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sweet, yeah. The reason that I think that these are important, as opposed to just like another knife, because I have my other pocket knives, when I got a knife sharpening kit, I basically did nothing for 3 days except sit down on the couch and sharpen knives. I mean, it's like
I watched. Yeah,
I remember like
walking in every time, and you were sharpening knives.
I remember getting on my way home from work, going like, "Oh man, I'm gonna sharpen some knives tonight again. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sharpen knives." I was literally going around like
Trying to
all
find
the
knives.
kitchen knives,
Yeah.
like
These steak knives are ridiculous.
Whoa! I think I cut your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway. So the difference is that this knife you can abuse. You can because there are sometimes you have to cut something. You don't want to use a good knife because when you cut this, it's gonna be terrible for the blade.
Right.
But all the same, it has to be cut. You know what I mean? So these are just the workhorse knives that you can use up. And that's fine. It's fine. It's fine to use them to like pry stuff if you need to, or just...
I like these better than the click, 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 click.
Yes.
Knives.
I agree. Yeah, they have some that have the thumb handle that you just constantly break off the tip, I don't have one of those. So
I do, and they're not fun.
I remember my dad having one growing up, and so I remember him using it. To me, that's more of a box cutter.
Yeah.
Than it is like an actual utility knife.
Okay.
I feel like there's more application for this, especially since it, like this one I have right here, is a Sheffield, Sheffield knife, and it's like here, it's just like sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
It locks.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I just really, really like it. So my roommate Dylan gave this to me in college.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when you're in project mode, this is really what you want to have. You don't carry your good pocket knife, like for remodeling your bathroom or for if you're
Opening
doing
up cardboard boxes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I use really this for the most.
Right.
Because we get all this stuff from Amazon, and you end up with just boxes everywhere. And I know like some people live in fancy parts of the world where you can put your boxes on the curb and they'll get recycled for you. But, we don't live in fancy land here in Broken Arrow, okay?
We're about to.
Are we?
Yeah, we're about to start recycling.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, because here you mean our whole life you had to put it in your car
Right.
and take it.
No. They're going to be picking up soon.
Also, you used to get paid for cans. Do you still get paid for cans?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know anybody who's they just put them in the bin with everything else. I remember my mom saving all the cans. We had a can crusher.
Oh yeah.
In our garage.
My grandma had one of those.
So we'd go crush cans so that you
Those are
could
awesome. That's another man gear.
save them for a long time, and then take them in.
Yeah.
And I remember we'd get like $5, $10 or something. It was never very much, but
yeah,
it was something. It gave you a reason to recycle,
right?
Hey,
we have another interesting thing that's happening this week. Are we allowed to say it? Oh well, I've already kind of spilled the beans on that.
Okay.
We're recording it, and we're going to be on somebody else's show.
Yes.
This week.
Yeah, tomorrow. We're going to record it. I don't know. Is it going to be live? I don't know that it's live.
No, I don't think it will be.
No.
But we're going to be on Patrick Coffin's show.
Yep.
We're going to record it tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to come out. We're talking about friendship.
Yeah, it might never come out.
It may never come out. It's so funny, dude.
The first time we were on his show, it was you and I. In fact, we even sent him an email that was like, "Look, bro, don't air that."
I'm really sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
You do not have to air that show. That was just not very good.
We did so bad. Yeah, I remember. I remember finishing because we had just started the Catholic Man Show. We're maybe 50 episodes in or something like that. I don't know. Patrick Coffin just started his own show. He asked us to be on his show. It was like our first time that we were on somebody else's show.
Yeah.
With a big deal.
Right.
And I was very nervous. I remember being very nervous beforehand. I was worried that I was going to say something really dumb, which I've gotten over that. I say dumb things all the time.
You have to embrace the dumbness.
Embrace the dumbness, yeah. And
like D-U-M-M.
Right, dumb.
Yeah.
And I remember afterwards, I looked over at Dave and I go, Dave, I think that was terrible. I think that was absolutely terrible. And I waited a week and it didn't get posted. He doesn't do it like us. He had like a whole can of different interviews from other people. So he was going through all these other ones and like
he's much more professional than we are.
Right. Well, it's his job.
Yeah.
So he had like one that came out. Next week I was like, okay, here it comes. Embrace it. Didn't come out. Next week it didn't come out. And I'm like, I sent him an email. I was like, hey, look, man,
it's because
don't feel obligated to air it. Like maybe we didn't do well.
We did. Yeah.
He ended up saying that wasn't true. So he aired it at least.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to have another shot at it. Of saying dumb things on the Patrick Coffin Show.
I cannot wait to say dumb things on his show. This is going to be great.
Yeah, it could be our last time to be on.
This is I'm really looking forward to it this time.
You're really looking.
Yeah.
I mean, I was nervous about saying dumb things on his show the first time.
Now I can't wait.
I can't wait to say dumb things.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow when we're recording, and I'm gonna be like, I said this on your show, not my show. In fact, that's how I felt earlier this week when we were on that show in Louisiana. I forget what they call their show because it's kind of new. They started that morning show.
Oh, Adam Conk's show?
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Yeah. But anyway, I remember saying things like, I said this on your show. I would never have said that on my own show.
But that'll be fun. That'll be fun tomorrow. We're going to talk about friendship, talk about authentic friendship.
Okay, yeah,
We've
yeah.
given several talks on authentic friendship. We had one at the Courage Conference last year, which was a lot of fun. We've given this talk at several parishes, so it should be a good time. I'm not sure what angle he's going to take outside of, the importance of authentic friendship.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Patrick Coffin. You don't know exactly where he's going to take the show.
So your mom just said on Facebook that she likes the new lights.
Oh, good. I've been talking to her about them.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. I appreciate it. I've been asking before I bought these. I gave her cause she's really good at interior decorating.
She's got a good eye.
She has a good eye. And I said, Mom, this is what I'm planning on doing. And most of the time when I tell her, like, I'm planning on doing this, when it comes to decorations, she's very gently, lovingly trying to steer me in a different direction.
Well, her decorating touch is more feminine, naturally.
And just better.
And it's like,
And
yeah. I mean, no doubt.
much
there's
better
a
than
reason
me.
you're not on the decorating committee for the fundraiser that we have every year.
And she is.
Yeah, and that she is. Right.
But
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
right. And I don't even think we need tablecloths, but
Right.
but
Tablecloths are overrated.
yeah. But I told her about
That's so funny that.
that's what we
Never
thought.
mind.
I told her about this, and I was kind of embracing her, saying like, "Ugh, probably shouldn't do that." But she was like, "That sounds lovely. That sounds really good." And I was like, "Yes, Mom approval."
Rustic modern? Is that what that is?
Yeah, rustic modern,
I made that up.
retro modern.
Yeah, is that what it is?
No,
Is it-
I'm just
well, there
joking.
is.
That
There's
doesn't
like a
even mean it.
1950s like retro something modern.
And
It's like
welcome
the big,
to the
it's the big
Catholic
thing.
decorating show.
It's the big. That's what people are really going for. A lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people.
What are we talking about today?
We're gonna be talking about trust today.
People, God, everything.
Yeah, because there's a lot of aspects to trust. Because it has a lot of overlap with faith, but you can have faith and not trust in that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can believe something without actually like really believing it. There's a difference between mental assent and like yes,
Like in your heart of hearts.
Yeah.
I believe this.
yeah, operating your life around it. You know what I mean? So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Okay. Well, when we get back, we're going to talk about trust. We're sipping on a little bit of Talisker Distillers edition from 2015. Thank you to Juan on the buttons. Just got done talking about a X-Acto knife-ish. That was really good. We'll be right back.
That was really good. That was top quality right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is he being serious or facetious?
Oh,
What's
he's
he-
definitely being facetious. But he does, yeah. ¿Cómo se dice facetious in español?
Who's being facetious?
No, that's not my question. Do you understand español? ¿Cómo se dice facetious in español?
I was thinking about this the other day.
¿Cómo se dice shut up in español?
I don't even know how to stop this.
All right, let's just keep going. We're going to talk about trust. Let's do it.
You can shut up. It said, "Como se."
Welcome back to the Catholic Command Show. Sitting here with David Niles in studio. Got a giant wood beam behind us hanging with lights suspended in the air.
As wood beams go, I'm not sure that one is giant.
Well, maybe it's not giant. Maybe I was being hyperbolic.
Yes, but it is a nice beam. It's a very nice beam.
90-year-old.
Yeah, it's an old beam.
Yeah. So
So I was just looking at the Facebook
I'm gonna have to
word
take your phone
thing.
away from you.
When you said "como se dice,"
Yeah.
it thought you were giving the name of Commodius.
Oh, nice.
Commodius is what it
Commodius.
capitalized.
Nice.
I'm assuming
I'm gonna have to take your phone away so we can
you can't do that.
while we're having a conversation.
I'm gonna turn your internet off.
Okay, well, that would be terrible for everybody.
I can actually do that now. I don't know if you know that.
So we're talking about trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking about trust. And just like, I want to talk about how we can be conscious about making trustful, placing our trust in God, because it's something that you have to really choose to do. I mean, there are some moments in life, you just think back on your life. There are some pivotal moments that you will inevitably think of that should come to mind just in any person's life, where you realize that, wow, that was a moment where I really had to trust in God or trust in maybe even another person. Mm-hmm. But where that act of trust, really changed the direction of your whole life, maybe. And, maybe it's for the good, maybe it's for the bad. Maybe you're putting your trust in a bad place, but before we do that, I want to talk about 7 things. This is from St. Thomas Aquinas. Trust,
I love Aquinas. I'm a big fan of his.
Trust of the good, and in this case he means God, consists in 7 things.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell them to you.
Okay, and then we can talk about.
And
them.
I want your feedback. You're
gonna go all 7, and then I get feedback.
No, one at a time.
Okay, dang it, go. I've not seen this, so we try.
Number 1, in the fear of God.
Okay.
So obviously, that
makes sense.
Yep, if you got that. Number 2, in prayer.
Trust in prayer, is that what you mean?
Yep. Trust of the good consists in these 7 things. So it consists in prayer.
Fearing of God, prayer. Okay.
Yeah, and he says, "Thy servant hath found confidence to pray before thee." That's from First Chronicles 17.
Okay.
Number 3, in consecration of himself to God.
Okay.
So
of yourself to God?
Yeah, in trusting, it consists in consecrating yourself to God. And I think that one is really important because, like when we have to think about what it is that we're doing, and in trusting yourself, it's almost like in trusting God, you're saying, I am giving myself to you. I'm in your hands. Mm-hmm. I am really trusting you. So that is an act of consecration.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's really good. Number 4, in bountiful almsgiving.
Okay.
And it says, he quotes Tobit, "Alms shall be a great confidence before the Most High God." Sometimes Thomas Aquinas, he'll say stuff kind of, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm just going to trust you on that one. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what you're getting at there, but that's okay."
Yeah.
I feel that way a lot. When I read your stuff,
right? If I absorb 10% of what you say, I'm doing really good.
Yeah. Number 5, trusting in the good consists in keeping the divine law from Providence.
Don't separate yourself from God.
Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips, and thy trust may be in the Lord.
Okay. What's the next one?
Number 6 is in the blood of Christ. Trust of the good consists in the blood of Christ. That's what he says. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiest by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way.
I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
That's from Hebrews.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really know what partaking of the body and blood.
This is all from a sermon that he gave.
Okay.
And he did not expound on this.
Okay.
This is just what he said. And then number 7, in the day of judgment. Trusting consists in the day.
That's like St. Paul.
Yeah, and it's I think that you're
I've
trusting
been
yourself.
saved.
Exactly.
I'm in the process of being saved, and I hope to be
being
saved.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that here's the toughest part with me with trust, especially trusting trusting in God, is that intellectually, yes, I understand. I should trust in God. In fact, they say worry is a mild form of atheism. If you understand that God is in complete control,
right,
and that you are unifying your will with God's, that He's going to take care of you. Mm-hmm. He takes care of the sparrows,
right?
So He's going to take care of you.
It's a good argument.
It's a good argument. It's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard when things get hard, when things get tough.
Yeah.
That's when it's it's intellectually you understand it, but in your heart it's not easy. That's why I think, Job is such a huge hero for everybody.
Yeah.
Because what happened? Like his wealth went completely gone. He got all of his wealth gone.
Mm-hmm.
He lost 7 sons, 3 daughters.
Yeah.
He lost his wife. He got sick.
Yeah.
And
his whole family.
Everybody died.
They
all
died.
his friends abandoned him.
Right.
And he says, hey, the Lord has given me all of this, and I don't deserve any of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It has been a gift to me, bestowed upon me, and if it's taken away, then it's His will.
Mm-hmm.
See, that is the kind of trust I yearn to have.
Sure.
Because I don't have that right now. I say like, I definitely trust God. And then I don't know how to pay a bill, or work gets hard,
Mm-hmm.
or my kids are screaming in the middle of the night, or whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm all of a sudden saying like, what about God? What's going on?
Where are you?
Like,
in
where
this
are you
one?
now? Yeah. But Jesus has given us the prototypical man of, if you want to know what it's like, carry the cross. Look at the cross. Look at the crucifix.
Yeah, so a lot of it, I think, comes down to our expectations. That we think trusting in the Lord and, surrendering ourselves means that nothing bad will happen to me.
Right.
That's not what it means.
Job is a prime example.
Exactly. I mean, Jesus, he said, take up your cross every day.
Right.
It wasn't just like, hey, take up your cross this one time.
Which I understand that, but then whenever it happens to you,
I know.
is
in the moment.
In the moment, it doesn't. I struggle.
Yeah.
I struggle a bit, and again, I get what happens. You get anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Your anxiety goes up. Your stress levels go up. Your
Yeah.
temperament goes up, and again, like they've said. I can't remember where I heard. I think I heard this at Curcio or Acts or something like that. But somebody said, worry is a mild form of atheism.
Right, because if you're worried about it in some way, not even a conscious way,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe a subconscious way, and sometimes worry can be just a learned response. It's not something you're choosing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel anxious about it, like you just can't help that.
Right, there's certain dispositions,
And
that
sometimes
Sure.
you just have to embrace that anxious feeling
as a cross.
and you just say, "Hey, I feel this way, but I know that you're going to take care of this."
Right.
That So, but ultimately, at some level, it's because you think He's not going to take care of it.
Sure. I mean, that's my biggest concern, right?
Yeah.
Is that like, okay, I guess I got to burden all of this myself, and I'm gonna like, you're nowhere to be found. God,
Right.
why have you forsaken me?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the beginning of the Psalm verse that Christ quotes on the cross.
Yeah.
And it's only to say that no, He's there for you.
Mm-hmm.
He I can't remember the exact verse off the top of my head, but he's there for you. He's always there for you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I struggle with the most when it comes to trusting in God. When things are going well, when things are smooth sailing, when things are,
Yeah, I feel like a real holy person.
I'm like, I got,
look at
I
me.
have, I haven't sinned big time, and in a long time. I'm still going to
hours.
confess.
It's been hours. Yeah.
Hours. I'm receiving the sacraments on a daily, a regular basis. My prayer life is going great. Man, I am trusting in the Lord.
Yeah, look at me.
Look how,
Look at me go.
Yeah, and then the moment something happens, is when I start doubting.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling like I have this deep empathy for Saint Thomas, the apostle.
The apostle,
because
okay,
I feel like that I would probably do the same thing.
Sure.
It defies all odds. Like, even though he's told you this, like, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening? And so many times I've thought, like, why am I suffering like this, or why am I struggling with the sin over and over and over again? Should I go back to confession again if I'm going to just commit the sin all over again?
Right.
I'm just going to commit it again. Like, should I even go to confession? It's because I'm not trusting in the Lord's mercy, that He's just like, He's sitting there with His arms as wide as they can possibly go, waiting for me to run into Him.
Yeah.
And him embrace me. But I'm just sitting there doubting, saying like, I don't think He wants me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to do this on my own.
So
that's my biggest struggle.
So that's
with
a
trust.
good transition to the next thing, which I want to talk about, is presumption. Okay, because on the face of it, when we have the sin of presumption, it does seem like, you're putting a lot of trust in God's mercy. That's what you're doing.
Sin boldly, as Martin Luther said.
Right. And it's like, you know what? He's going to forgive me.
Yeah.
And so, like, isn't that trust? Because, wow, he will forgive you, right? I mean, so St. Thomas talks about this, and he says, no, actually he won't. Because in the sin of presumption, you are committing the sin against the Holy Spirit. You're blaspheming the Holy Spirit, actually. And this is the one unforgivable sin if you persist in this rejection of... Anyway, we'll talk more about this on the other side of the break because...
Okay. Yeah, because I also have another question about trust.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, cool. So we'll be right back, sitting here drinking a little bit of Talisker Distillers Edition from 2015. Thank you to Juan on the buttons. We'll be right back. Sorry, dude.
No, that was good.
I just looked at the sound waves and was like, you should be carrying this. And
no. That was good. That was good.
That's just my struggle with trust.
That's what we want, man.
Yeah,
we want the people. The people want the real Adam Minahan.
We just want to see all your brokenness.
Yeah, because
we feel so much better when we see how terrible you are.
And we laugh.
And we laugh.
And laugh.
Aquinas. I don't want to hear about Aquinas.
No, I want to hear about how terrible Adam is.
Right. Aquinas makes me feel bad. Adam makes me feel good.
All right, let's just keep going.
I mean, all virtue's relative, right?
We're progressive.
You can't say there's a middle road if it's not relative to other things. And mine happens to be you.
Yeah. And that's why we're friends.
You're my benchmark. Really good.
Do you want to recap on presumption really quick?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles, here with Adam Minahan, Juan Posada. We're talking about trust today. A lot of people out there with trust issues. Lots of kinds of different trust issues in the world.
Sure. When you have a broken father that you cannot trust,
Exactly.
It's very hard to trust the Heavenly Father because there's that's the importance of fatherhood.
I think that's what I really think. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or anything like that, but I have a brain and I think about stuff, and it seems to me that the lack of fatherhood is at the root of most of the trust issues that people have running around today. There's been a betrayal in your life. You have been betrayed by someone. Maybe it wasn't your dad, but someone who was supposed to be there for you, that you needed to trust, that you had a natural need to trust this person, and they let you down. Yeah, so fatherhood, super important. Listen to our other episodes as well.
Sure.
So we're talking about trust and presumption. Just to recap what we said before the break, the sin of presumption, maybe we should just say what that is. Sin of presumption is when you commit a sin knowing, well, God will forgive me for this. One thing that I used to do is when I would commit a sin, I need to go to confession. I was like, well, I'll go this Sunday before Mass. And that's like 4 days. So I have 4 days to go on being a sinner.
And being a heathen.
Right. Because I'm going to go on Sunday. Mm-hmm. That is the sin of presumption, where you presume God's mercy. Mm-hmm. Now, he will, if there's one thing you can trust in, it's God's mercy. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just read St. Faustina's diary if you want to come to know God's mercy and how just incredible it is. But that's not an excuse for sin. So that's why presumption is not trust, because you're not trusting God.
You're trusting yourself.
You're trusting Satan.
And you're trusting yourself.
And you're trusting your own pride. Right. It's like if you were trusting God, you would be turning away from sin, not indulging in it. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it's like this is one of those tricks of the devil where he will take something and, oh, well, did he really? Is that really what God said? And so that's just kind of like the opposite of of trust, so I thought it'd be a good thing to mention today. But just because you don't do that. Don't fall into that trap. If you need to go to confession, don't wait till Sunday like I used to do.
Right.
You go tomorrow. You call your priest.
Right.
And here in our diocese, you can still go to confession.
Yeah, we're very fortunate for that.
I think that maybe that's not the case everywhere, but I
so.
certainly, hopefully, priests are hearing confessions. Anyway, I want to also change the direction a little bit and talk about. Wait, you had a question. What was your question? What was your?
Oh yeah.
So
The reason why I is Christ says pick up your cross and follow me daily is because we're not made for this world. We're made for the next.
Right.
And so I think, or do you think that a lot of the times when we fall, it's because we have a short vision of like what's going on. We want the instant pleasure or whatever it is, versus the long goal of getting to heaven. We don't understand, like we're living in the exact moment right now and not thinking of the big picture. You think that is the case?
I think that can be some of it. I don't think that you can say when we fall it's because of X, because we know it's the world, the flesh, and the devil. So it could be either one, all three. Right. So I would hesitate to say like this is why we fall.
I didn't mean that as a blanket statement. I just meant like, is that something you think happens?
Oh yeah.
Because like,
I think it's because you're not close to your cross. If you were closer to your cross, like why did David, commit a sin with Bathsheba? He was supposed to be on the battlefield, doing his duty, but he wasn't. He was at home. Oh, I'll send everybody else. I'm going to sit here in this life of luxury. So when we fail in our duties, that has a way of leading us into temptation.
Well, and that's what a lot of times whenever we sin, right? It's like whenever we're not doing what we're like supposed to be doing.
Yeah, sort of like the idle hands sort of thing.
When we're not doing, you got to only put us on this earth for a short amount of time, and every moment that we're here, He's going to judge us for like what we've done. Yeah. And that's the thing that
That's the problem with college. So much idle time. It's like I have no responsibility. I don't have to do anything today. That's the big problem. Then you get a job,
that's
and it's
that's why it's so important to instill virtue and develop virtue
at a young age
before you get to college.
I agree.
What's the direction you want to go?
So I want to talk about Christ trusting us. Okay, because just the beautiful thing about Christ is he never asks us to do anything he has not done himself, and that he doesn't do himself. Okay, because he walked the walk. You know what I mean? And to this day, he sits there. He is the almighty greatness. He is the pure thing that is to be, his essence is lovely and should be protected and guarded. He is God. And yet he gives himself to us every day, so we are the temples of the Holy Spirit. He dwells within us, putting himself at risk, knowing that we are sinners. We are going to sin. We're going to wound him in that moment. He still is there with us, ready to take the blow, So it's like, if you want to talk, just like here, he is trusting us. And so it's like, are we trustworthy? Are you even trustworthy? He is. So he's sitting here encouraging us all the time in this way, saying, here I am. It's not just like, sometimes I catch myself thinking about, he lived the passion. He suffered death, and now that's over. I mean, he's not suffering anymore, in like he did in his passion, but he still is. It's like he's still wounded by our sin. He still has
Mother of Sorrow.
He still has to.
The Lady of Sorrow.
He still has to bear. He's still going to bear that pain. And I'm not sure how God works that out. In the timelines of infinity and.
Timelines of infinity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're welcome.
I like that.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gives himself not only to us, when he dwells within us, and, we're walking around, are we protecting our eyes? What do you call that?
I call it...
what's the word for that?
I call it being...
Something of the eyes. Anyway, where you just like...
Yeah.
Don't look at stuff you should.
Custody of the eyes.
Custody of the eyes. Thank you.
Man, that took me way too long to think
I wasn't
of
gonna
that.
get it. I was not gonna get it.
Custody of the eyes.
You know, we think like, oh, I'm a man. You know, I'm an adult. But at the same time, like, there are things out there in the world nobody should be looking at.
That's the very first thing of pride, right? It's like a thing like I'm gonna be just fine. It's like, no, it's only through God's grace that you're able to not fall this very, very moment.
Right.
Because there are thousands of hounds of devils that are just waiting to lurk on you.
Yeah.
And pounce on you.
This is something I've learned from my wife, Lady Niles, Lady Pamela.
Yes.
She is just so she's her purity is just like it's just in a different.
It makes white look dark.
Oh, I mean, it's like when you can think about. I think about me.
Yeah.
The life I lived, and then like I think about the life that she has lived. I mean, there's a reason why she's holier than me.
Sure.
But she's really taught me a lot about, like, should we be watching this movie? And I think like we're adults, it's fine. And then, but the more I think about it, she's right. I shouldn't be watching. If I want to consecrate, I want to be holy.
Right.
That's what I want to be.
That's why I have a issue with certain movies, certain
and the movies and
language.
Movies and shows these days, it's like almost you can't watch any of them. If you really want to take your holiness seriously, is this the thing that you want to expose to the temple the Christ? Are you being trustworthy with the gift that he is giving you? Okay? In your soul. Okay? The next thing is that he gives himself to us in the Eucharist. This is the most precious gift on the planet. The angels do not have this gift. They might behold the beatific vision, and that's full force. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they don't get to receive him in the Eucharist. I mean, this is like
if they could be jealous, it would be.
It's of this. This is it.
That's
Right.
I think Maximilian Kolbe said.
So, he gives himself to us in the Eucharist, and when we go to receive him, I'm so nonchalant. And I hope, in this period where we're all apart from the Mass, when we return, we can maybe a fresh start with the reverence which we approach the Eucharist, because he gives himself to us in the Eucharist, even knowing that some of these hosts that are consecrated around the world will be used in the desecration of a black Mass. He doesn't pull out, of the Eucharist, So it's just incredible how much he trusts us, who are so untrustworthy.
Yeah, I mean it's
true. Mind blowing,
right?
That him, the God of the universe, the Creator of all things, would continue to stoop so low to us, who are so unworthy of all of it, but he does it because he loves us, and so all he asks is that we, in turn, trust him. Look at what he's constantly doing for us, as just an ongoing symbol. The Eucharist is the greatest sign that we could ever ask for. The physical presence of God. That's what they had in the Old Testament, in the Holy of Holies. They had, if you went in there, you were going to die.
Right. Yeah.
And yet, what we have is greater than that.
So can we continue a little bit afterwards to have a little post?
Sure.
If you're on the radio or you're on our podcast, jump over to our YouTube or Facebook, because I'd like to ask you, how do we build trust?
Yeah.
Because we didn't really talk about that. Like, okay, maybe I don't have very much. How do I build it?
Yeah.
So, drinking a little Talisker this evening, talking about trust with my best friend Dave. I'm on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
And cheers to Jesus.
So, let's just keep it rolling. Yeah. That's good. Thank you, Juan. So that was something that I had questions about.
Building trust?
Yeah, because let's say there's not a lot of there's some guys out there that didn't have a good father figure, didn't have a good family life.
Yeah.
The people that were instilled, to nurture and care for that person violated the trust that they were given, to that kid, and so now the kid, like, I don't trust anybody, much less trust God, because it's hard for me to even imagine a good and holy God that loves me, and so that the trust is broken there. That's the extreme side, right? I was blessed to have a family that I didn't deserve, But I still have trust issues with God, and it's typically when things go terrible.
Yeah.
And so, what do you? I mean,
welcome
what do you do?
Welcome to the human condition.
Right. So I mean, so what do you do?
Well,
what do you do whenever things are going so bad and you're thinking like you're overwhelmed and it's hard for you to trust? Like, I don't even know how we're gonna pull this off. Like, or I don't even know what we're gonna do here.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not at all an expert or like the best at this. These are just my own.
Yeah.
My own thoughts.
Yeah. No,
but like for people who
don't worry, dude. I don't think Scott Hahn is gonna critique us or Jimmy Aiken or anybody like that. It's gonna like be listening to our show critiquing us.
Like people who know might say, "Oh, that's terrible advice. Yeah. That's not how you build trust."
Well, this is just us.
Yeah. So I would say like for people who have trust issues, and let's start with like general, like because I don't think you have trust issues. You have issues in moments with trust, as opposed to like a trust issue. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you have trust issues, maybe that's something you worked out in counseling, okay? Because you're walking around operating with the hermeneutic of suspicion all the time with people, like at least on a subconscious level. So that's an issue. You're gonna have trouble in your marriage. You're gonna have trouble in all of your relationships.
Sure.
If that's your, so you work on forgiveness. But what I think has been really big in my own life is reading the saints, reading the lives of the saints, and seeing what they did, these heroic moments that they would do. You know, like, wow, I thought I was having a rough day. Here is like Saint X, Y, and Z. Like I didn't go through anything. You know, like
what's he the patron of?
The alphabet.
Wow.
Yeah, alphabetic saint.
Come X, Y, and Z. Anna needs you.
Yeah, I need some spelling. It is rough. But you know, it's like, wow, my whole family wasn't murdered in the concentration camps.
Right.
And,
sure.
Or stuff like that. You know, it's like, and so I think reading and getting their examples, I just know for me reading like the mystics, Saint Faustina and, Teresa of Avila, those have been very inspiring for me, and just learning about their personal disposition towards Christ has given me something to imitate. It's like, oh, that's what a holy disposition looks like. That's how I'm supposed to feel. You know, like, and you just hear and read some of the words that they would say in prayer to the blessed Lord. It's like, I am going to start saying those words because like that is impressive, you know, and like I'm going to try to mean those things when I say them. And because often it's just, you don't know, how are you supposed to do it if you don't know what it looks like? You know, I think that's maybe what some of the trust issues is, like, you don't even know what it looks like to trust somebody. Never even seen it.
Right.
How are you supposed to do it? So I would say read the saints because they all have a profound trust. I mean, I think that's like a unifying chord that would run
Mother Angelica
between them
was
all.
one that whenever I read her biography, I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, like starting, it's like, yeah, let's buy $1 million worth of stuff. We have no money, but you know what? God's gonna give it to us.
Did you know that she made fishing lures?
No.
She made like one of the first things she did to fund EWTN was she made fishing lures, and she called them St. Peter's fishing lures, and they were such a big hit that ESPN gave her a honorary like fisherman's award for that year back in, I think, the 80s. Can
you still find them? Are people selling these?
No. Well, I mean, maybe on the secondary market or something like that. But she closed up shop there. She also started a nut company, peanuts and cashews.
Really?
And she did all these things that she had no business starting.
I want one of her fishing lures.
She received it. I remember reading in the biography, she didn't she received it and she was like, I don't even fish. I don't even know if I've ever fished. But she did it to fund what she thought. I mean, that's the heroic trust.
Because you can still buy her stuff,
right?
Because she's not canonized.
She's not canonized yet.
And so, like, if you buy personal effects of a saint, that's the sin of simony, or simony, however you want to say it.
I like simony better.
I like simony too, even though it was named after Simon.
Right.
So it's like some people say simony, but she's not a saint yet.
Right.
declared by the church. So it's still licit to buy up her stuff, knowing that she will be declared a saint someday, and you're going to have a bunch of relics.
Yeah. So on the trust deal, when we're talking about when things go bad, and it's hard to remember, that you should unite your will to God's, and if this is God's will to be completely, free of that, to just completely surrender your will to His, knowing that His will is going to only sanctify you in that moment. When that happens with me, I think that there are times where if I don't recollect in my mind over and over again saying, God is in control, God is in control, God is in control, when things go crazy, if I don't continue thinking that throughout the day or on a regular basis, it's very easy for me to lose that idea that it's very easy for my pride to set in and to try to think like, nope, I guess I gotta buckle up and do it myself.
Right.
It's like, man, I sure wish that God was working as hard for me as what the devils are working, to get me over there. It's almost like that idea of God's not working near as hard for me, wanting me as what the devil, which is...
If this is how you treat your friends, no wonder you have so many enemies.
Right. And so that's the thing that I really struggle with a lot of times is not like, if you don't train your mind to be in the, to stop what you're doing, and just for a second, even if it's just for a split second, and think about Christ, think about God, think about the crucifix. That's why we have crucifixes on the wall. That's why we have these things to remind ourselves of that that we will suffer, but it's for the greater good. God has bigger things for you. I don't know. That's the thing that I struggle with. That if I've caught myself, if I am not continually thinking about holy things, if I'm not continually on a regular basis thinking about Christ, thinking about the saints, thinking about trying to unite my will with Christ, the moment that temptation happens, or the moment that I fall into sin, man, I jump away from that instantly.
Yeah. So think about this, because I've had moments where I'm going through whatever, and I'm telling Christ like, wow, I really need your help. And then I'll realize that, like, yes, here I am telling God I need His help, and I'll realize that I can't even let Him help me if He doesn't give me the grace so to allow me to resign myself to His help.
Right.
And it's like, I need your help, and I need you to help me to let me help you, to let
you help me.
You help me. I need your help with you helping me.
Right.
And I need your help to help me to help.
And knowing that, this moment of me asking you is you helping me.
It's like an infinite regression.
Right.
That it's like I am constant. It's like we have a profound poverty of power. We are utterly powerless. A profound poverty of power. Alliteration.
I started to say, like, it took me a second to think about that. Like, whoa.
But we are just so utterly helpless.
Right.
Without His grace, we can do nothing. And so it's like here we,
and that's humility, knowing, understanding that.
That's just the truth.
Right.
And so, here we are thinking like, I guess it's up to me, because that's what people think. It's not, I'm just using.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah. So like, just remembering that we can do nothing. You can't even take your next breath. You can't open your eyes. Like your very existence is being held. You're being cradled in existence by God's love. Mm-hmm. And so I think one of the issues is that we're so attached to things.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a fear of losing
these things,
not
being Job-like.
Right.
He lost all of his money. It's like, no, I earned that money. I worked for that money.
Right. Because we think that we have our attachments to physical things of the world instead of realizing that these things don't matter.
But that's so easy to say.
It's a super. It's not natural. This is a supernatural thing to be able to resign yourself and say, "Oh, money. I don't need money." Right. Like, because naturally you need money.
Right.
In this world today, without money, you die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or life is just really, really awful. It's terrible, you know, and you're careening towards death, you know. So that's what a lot of it is just we're so attached
to things that are not God.
Yes, to the world. We are attached.
Our will is attached to these little things.
If we want to get to heaven, why are we clinging to this world so much? You know what I mean? And
Well,
if we don't do that,
that's what I struggle with all the time.
yeah. If we can learn to utterly resign, like to me, the things that I'm most attached to are my children and my wife. You know, if I think about losing them, it just the thought of it devastates me. You know, and I get like nervous about the thought of what if one of my children die? What am I gonna do?
Right.
And so like sometimes in prayer, I'll be I don't want to say afflicted, but like I'll have all of a sudden like these thoughts about what if one of my kids died? You know, and I'm just trying to kind of out of the blue.
Right.
And so I'll just say, you know what, and just resign. I just resign. You know, God, these are your children. They're not even mine. And if one of them died, then like, if one of my children died right now, they have not reached the age of reason.
Right.
So they would go to
saints.
heaven.
Yeah.
They would be in, and like, praise be Jesus. You know, if that were the case, I don't want that to happen.
Right.
But you know, like just training ourselves to let go and just to realize that all the things that we cling to don't even come close to fulfilling us. And these are words, you know, it's like one thing to have this conversation and it's a totally different thing to live it. To do it.
And to live it.
You know, it's like I'm saying it, not like I'm doing.
Right. I mean, when Haley and
I pray about it and I struggle with it.
Yeah, I mean, when Haley and I had our miscarriage, which I still would like to do an episode, I think, on miscarriage, and I think time has passed long enough. My concern was I would get too emotional. Yeah. And I think time has passed long enough where at some point we could do one. But you know, when Haley and I had that,
it's so common.
It is
common.
You don't realize it.
It's a silent burden most people carry,
and you don't realize it until you have one, and then people come out of the woodwork saying like, oh yeah, I've had several. It's like
a lot of people have had many.
You know, and when Haley and I, lost our child, it was like one of those moments of deep sorrow, of deep, Haley and I think that was probably the first time that we just sat there and had a deep cry with each other, around, being in front of, being completely vulnerable and knowing that, we've lost this child, but the redemption side of it, knowing that, we're not made of this world, we're, we're made for heaven. Yeah. We have, Saint Angelica is up there right now praying for us, and guiding us and lifting our prayers up to our Lord, is a comfort that we have, that if we didn't believe in the resurrection of the body, if we did not believe in the resurrection, and we did not believe in having it, life after this life, I don't know what we would do. Yeah. I mean, it was, being able to trust that, Lord, that if we had the opportunity, we'd baptize this child. Yeah.
And that's a good point, that funeral masses are all about entrusting. It's like, here we're taking a soul and entrusting it to Christ. And that's why abandoning it to his mercy.
And I struggle with these funerals these days because it pulls away from what it's meant to be, which is like, hey, church militant, you here on earth should be praying for this soul. Yeah. My list of pet peeves, I don't have many like pet peeve lists. I know, that's why we're friends, but otherwise I would.
I do have one about funeral masses. Like, I'm going to make a list. It's going to be in my will about things that are not allowed to take place at a funeral mass. Dude, first of all, the homily shouldn't be about me. I'm not Jesus, okay? You should be, it's a mass. The homily is about Jesus. The homily is not the eulogy.
One of the things that I really want to do.
Tell me.
When I die,
Go to heaven?
I would definitely want to go to heaven.
Float over here with me.
Come over here. Check this out. Look at it over here. No, what I want to happen is, this happened. I didn't know this was even a thing until Deacon John Donnelly passed away. God rest his soul. Was after he passed away, he asked that there be a 24-hour adoration the day after he died, and he wanted his body to be in front of the Eucharist for that full 24 hours. So even after he has passed, he wanted his body to still, to still glorify, worship, be in front of the presence of our Lord. Even though his soul, is already up there, is already, we pray in heaven. He wanted his body to be in front of Jesus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And when I heard, I was like,
can you just do that?
I didn't know you could.
Can you just make demands like?
Well, I mean, like he did, and the pastor at the time, Father Joe, allowed that to happen. And
when I die, a full year of adoration for my body, a whole year.
A year indulgence if you walk in there and it smells terrible, but you still stay.
Yes.
Anyway, we've digressed too far. Juan, are you good? Is there anything that you want?
I wonder if you could request to be like buried with a host, the Eucharistic host, like in your coffin with you. That's probably like a sacrilege.
Yeah, that would.
But wouldn't that be sweet? Like me and Jesus, we were buried together. I understand it's sacrilegious. Okay, I get that. But also, there's a way of looking at it that's really cool.
Sounds like Egyptian mind.
Yeah, that's like King Tut over here is the thing, and he's gonna take all the treasures.
King Tut was like, I want all my slaves killed, and like,
okay, let's.
That was different.
Yeah.
He was taking this world to the grave. I want to take the next.
I thought it was a good episode.
Thank you.
You did a good job, Dave.
Thank you. Cheers to Jesus.
Cheers. That was the wimpiest cheers I think we've ever done. This is like,
it was okay. It was just like, dink. It was like a